Look at that. Saved by the bell.
Okay. And that's, do a call to order, a moment of silence.
Second, the ordinance. We'll talk about it.
Pledge allegiance. Pledge allegiance.
To the flag of the United States of America, to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Roll call.
Trustee Mann?
Here.
Trustee Gerger?
Here.
Trustee Churchill?
Here.
Paul Packelwater?
Present.
And Dan Lewis?
Mr. Lissay couldn't be here. Any public announcements, or anybody for public comments on agenda topics? Can I have a motion to bring the consent agenda forward?
I'll make that motion.
Lance. Second. Okay. Trustee Mann, seconded by Mr. Packelhofer. Any discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Ayes have it. New business, water and sewer refund request. Peg, can you give us a background of what's going on, what brought it forward, where we're at?
These two folks here are Mary and James Legg. They live at 220 Teal Drive in Chatham.
Okay.
Over the last, I think it was maybe a month ago now? I think something happened in the office that caused Megan to send the guys out to check the meter. Whether she thought maybe it jumped high or looked high or something, but when they got out there, they found out that it was a Model 15 base with a Model 25 head. And if you don't have the special code in the accounting system, when those are set up like that, you will get a high reading. We have shown that that meter and that head have been at that house at least since 8/9/2011. Now, the Lakes, you have lived there longer than that.
22 years.
But our records do not go back that far. We've replaced our computer system and we did not bring all those records over. We don't even have them any longer. That's as far back as we have.
Okay.
Jamie went through, calculated what the water charge was. If you look at the top of this, it's got the reading, or the read date, the reading, what the consumption was, the factor that was included in that meter. Then it shows how much their number was, what the overage was, what the water rate was at that time, how much we charged them for water, how much we should give them back for credit, what the sewer charge is, and how much we should give them back for credit. And if you look on the last page of your the sheet there, they have overpaid $4,603.18 for water and $2,706 or $2,706.19 for sewer.
Holy cow.
Mm-hmm. That was my ranch, I thought, fell to my knees.
Yeah.
Mhm.
So we've only had one of these mismatched meters in the past. You guys have addressed it with that person that came in. Well, I told the lady that we would have you come in, if they would come in here tonight. Told them what our policy was. And I also told them that they should ask for it all, because that's what the last lady. I told them that our policy says 1 year, and you guys can make a recommendation from 1 year up to it. And then that has to go to the full board for the board to vote on it.
Okay. No, have they filled out the forms that we need to fill out?
They have.
Okay. would you guys like to ask for the full refund?
Oh,
I would
yeah.
imagine.
Yes, sir.
Well, I mean, and something else, which I guess, I mean, there's no way to know when that was installed. I mean, what if it had been another 10?
Unfortunately, if we don't have the records, it's not that we could even
Right.
look back and know.
Did you understand where I'm coming from?
Absolutely, absolutely, and that's
There's
why.
liability to assume it's right. I have no idea what's on it.
So one of the reasons behind this committee was for these types of situations. Because if we were like under an ICC utility, they only go back 2 years. You're out of luck after 2 years, that's all you get.
Even if there's records, they would just cut it off and say, here's your 2 years. Over.
And that's it. So we know that, we're not governed by ICC, so we needed to have a branch that kind of looked at it
Right.
and looked back to see, yeah, we're only gonna go back 1 year. So our policy says 1 year. But, I don't wanna speak for everybody up here, but when it's our fault, we've kind of made the determination that you guys shouldn't have to pay for, village.
And there was nothing at home for you to call in, it was someone in the office noticed something and.
Yeah,
And that's when they went out there.
Something out.
we became aware of it, and then we notified them that, hey, there's a mess up here.
Okay.
And we're still in the process of replacing all the meters, correct?
We were, as we go through town, we are looking to turn around and take all of the meters that are inside houses
And put them out.
and put them outside in the pit.
About how many have we gotten through so far? Do you know? Are we halfway through, a third, a quarter?
I would say we're over halfway through, maybe
Okay.
60%.
So, we should see, hopefully, less and less of these, but I think you're gonna see these just because
We're gonna see a few.
back in the
Do you
day.
have crawl space? Is your meter in a crawl space, or
No, except I'm on a slab.
you're on a slab? So
Yeah.
where is the meter in your house?
It's in the laundry room right when you go in the garage.
Is it hard to see the meter from where it is in the laundry room?
So,
Because that's what we've run into in the past. The last one was in a crawl space
Right.
that was almost impossible to get into. And I don't think the guy that went in there could see what type it was, so when he put the different type on the top.
No, it's right there next to washer and dryer. It's easy thing.
Yeah,
so are they switching their meter to one of the new ones?
I think
they have.
Yeah, I think they've already
Yeah,
replaced it.
he replaced it.
Okay. But is it a new, did he replace it and leave it inside?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So,
We do that in emergencies. We didn't have time to turn around and go outside
Right.
and do that. So in this case, put the right one in place. We'll come back later.
But they do have the right one that can communicate with here.
Oh, yeah, yeah. Well, this one could communicate.
Oh,
The problem is it's a
Something's going
mismatched
on.
base and a top. The top that does the communication and the bottom spins.
right.
And it uses that magnet in there to turn around and determine and tells the top how many times it's spun. You can take this type of bottom and this type of top and make them work,
Program.
but the formula that you use in the software then is a different number than the one that you see on the sheet, and that was the problem. The person did not, if the person in the field knew those were mismatched, he did not pass that on to the girls in the office that you need to change the formula.
Okay. So these numbers are back to 2011.
Yeah.
And that's all the records we have.
It is.
Any discussion? I'm for recommending that we pay it all.
Oh, yeah, I think we should pay it all. It's not their fault.
All right, can I have a motion, to refund, what are your names? Just repeat on the record.
Jim and Mary,
Jim and Mary.
Legg, L-E-G-G.
Legg, so if you can get that down. A motion to refund Jim and Mary Legg $4,603.18 for their overpaying of water, and $2,706.19 for their overpaying of the sewer. All right, I have a motion to do that.
I'll make that motion.
I will second.
Trustee Churchill, second by trustee Mann, third by trustee Denver, not trustee Denver. Mr. Padilla, not fourth, so All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. All those opposed? All right, guys, have it. So we will bring it to the board, for a vote.
We can have that, for a week from tomorrow night.
You need to have 4 votes on the board. You already know you have 3,
Yeah.
so
Okay.
I hope that it does pass. We'll make that recommendation and.
And then we will figure out whether you want a check, whether you want credit, or a combination of both. Yeah.
Check would be good.
Yeah.
We've already written the checks.
Well, I am sorry this happened to you.
Oh, that's
But
okay, I'm glad,
we-
he walked up and
Yeah.
told me after he did that, he came out and told me that, I said, thank you for being so honest. He could have just walked away.
We will not do that. The guys know now. They said, what if we find another one of these? I said, we have to tell the people.
Yeah.
Okay.
I said,
We'll have to have a meeting and,
Yeah.
We appreciate that.
What's right is right.
Right.
yeah, and that's, like I said, one of the reasons for this board was to not have to be stuck with a year or 2 years. We could actually hear reasons and try to make people whole if it was, in fact, our fault.
Okay.
So we apologize.
It happens.
Absolutely.
Yeah,
Yeah.
well, we're
And
making
so
it right.
We'll make it a week from tomorrow.
Tuesday,
We'll make the recommendation, and then it'll go before the board.
you're welcome to come to that meeting. You don't have to, but you're welcome to.
We will tell them you showed up to this. This is a good thing too.
Yeah.
Sometimes we have stuff come before us and people don't show. This shows you care, you're concerned, and we appreciate that as well.
Mhm.
So the next meeting's a week from today, same time, is that what?
Week from
Week from
Tuesday.
Oh, Tuesday.
Tomorrow.
Yeah,
Yep.
and it starts at 6.
It'll start at 6.
Yeah. Same place here, right?
Yep. So we appreciate your guys'
Well, we
time.
appreciate you doing what you did to help us out.
Yeah.
Sorry you had to go through that, but thank you for,
Well, it's kind of, I would have spent that money not down over the years where it went now.
That's what I told him. I said, you got a boat fund.
Yeah.
There you go, thank
All right,
you.
thank you.
Thank you.
All right, have a good evening.
You as well.
Bye.
All right, SSWC update.
Lee has resigned, stepped down.
I'm sorry, who has?
He moved.
Lee has resigned?
Yeah, he had moved from our commissioner to the county,
Right.
and then.
The county guy became ours, right?
And the county guy became ours,
All right.
Dave Johnson. He's also on our planning commission. He lives down here in Chatham. Lee, a couple guys that work for him, he's in charge of the water section for Hanson Engineers. And a couple guys moved on to another firm, and all that work that those guys are doing, him and 2 other guys are trying to absorb for right now until they can get somebody hired. So we just didn't have time to put to this. I think he was relieved that he got to the point where he got the financing redone, and I think it was a good time for him. I worked with Bill Brown to try to find us another person, and I really, really worked hard to try to get Bill Brown to do it. He said, Pat, I really just don't want to do that right now. So he got Jim Roth, who was longtime head of water at Crawford Murphy Utility. He's retired now, lives in Rochester, right down the road from the plant. He was one of the engineers when we very first started the process of looking into getting our own water supply. He was Rochester's engineer at the time, and they worked with our engineers and the engineers. But in the end, they ended up saying, Rochester said, no, we want to be a part of it, and then stepped out. He's willing to be the county's
So
representative.
he'll be the county representative.
He's has a good working relationship with Bill, and I would not be the least bit surprised once he gets sworn in next week that Bill will be out there with him and they'll be installing chlorines together.
So we do think we're gonna get chloramines?
I do.
Once you get Jim in there, he's got his apron on.
I could see him do it. I really could.
We're gonna get him this year?
I think we'll get him within a month. Now,
I hope so.
Because he's retired, he's right down the street, he's not like Lee where Lee had another job to try to take care of and stuff. I
Right.
think he'll be spending some time at the plant.
Who's the
kinda like-
chair?
Huh?
Who's the chair?
He will be,
He will be?
This Jim will be?
yeah.
He's already been approved by the county board now, or
That gets done, I think, next week.
that's probably a done deal,
Yeah,
pretty much.
the mayor of Chatham and the mayor of New Berlin sent letters of recommendation appointing him as the county's representative, so.
And our representative won't be the chair then?
I don't think so.
Okay.
Cause did that move with Lee? Did Lee stay as the chair when he moved to become the county rep?
He did,
And he stayed as the chair?
yeah, and I think Dave would like for that. He'd like for a water engineer to be the chair of it.
Any questions on that?
They're working on putting a grant together to get a tower, to get the money for a tower. And then that will essentially eliminate our problems of when they lose power out there, of they'll have 1 million or 1.5 million up in the air to keep the pressure on the line. And since we switched back to them after they had their one last little problem, we've been buying water from them hand over fist, and we have not had to go back and get any supplemental water or anything from the city of Springfield.
So when was the last time we got from Springfield?
June,
Okay.
I think that was that month that you guys asked to see the bills.
Right.
That was the last month that we bought water from them, I think.
And that was for about a month period,
It was about half a month,
half a month.
yeah.
So I'm taking it then that they completed the pigging since they're able to meet our demand.
They got the pigging station all put in, and then found out that there was no buildup of
Maybe,
or anything in the line. The lines were as clear as a bell. Well, they're plastic lines. I don't know why they thought they would have a buildup of metal in those lines. The only place that there's metal is the valves where they connect together. But a plastic line is not going to, you know, have that metal water reaction of trying to get, you know, what do they call them? I think they call them turb.
So, are we
Something like
producing
that.
more because of those new filters?
That's the thing. They're put the new filters, and they got a different company to come out there and clean and rework the wells. They said that the 3 wells that they got going now are working better than they ever have, even from the day they were new. So they're producing so much more water, and then the microfilters are twice the size of what the other ones are, so they don't have to clean them as often. If they ever put that second water train in there, we could probably do 2.5
How
million gallons a day.
much are we doing right now, Dave?
I bet they're doing 1.3 million.
It sounds like what they said when we were out there in November for that meeting, that they were really starting to push it. How about the scour and flush program? I know they were gonna do like, was it a third of the town?
Right, and we did, I think,
Is it a quadrant or?
we did the first quadrant, and then we stopped because of COVID, and we have not gone back and done that again.
So it stopped in March or?
Yeah.
Okay, so that's been on pause this whole time.
Yeah,
Do we have any sense of when they'll?
I don't see a problem with us going back and doing that.
Yeah.
We could probably, once the, you know, the peak demands and stuff drop off with the pools and the sprinkler systems and stuff, then I think we could go back and visit that and do that.
They try to do that in non-peak times, right?
Absolutely, yeah. Because you're just taking water and dumping it on the ground.
Right.
Yeah.
So that might be, they might pick that back up when it.
In the fall and the winter, before it freezes. You don't want it,
An ice plunge?
well, that's the problem is too, you know, you turn around, it would be the ideal time to be able to do it in the winter, but then that water sits there, if it sits on a road or somebody's sidewalk, and it just turns into an ice skating rink.
So, and Like you said, they're trying to get the water tower a grant for it to pay for it all?
Well, they're, with the feds and with the state, looking to give out money for COVID and trying to stimulate the economy. The grant that's available needs to show that you're creating jobs for it. And I tried to help them the best I could with, but us being able to sell more water right now is not going to create more jobs down here for us with the current business climate that we have right now. So that's what we're saying. About the only thing I can say is if you were gonna put up a new water tower, you're creating new jobs of those guys building the water tower, but,
Right. But otherwise, so that expense will most likely fall on us.
what, to pay for a new water tower?
Yeah.
Lee's original plan was not to go out and raise water rates or bond anything again. They're profitable. If they continue to move forward with being profitable, he thought within maybe 2 years, they would have enough profits to turn around and build a water tower without having to raise rates. So
Okay.
that's what he told me as he was leaving.
Who's doing the financials for them now? Do we know that?
They still have that one gal that's the bookkeeper, but I don't know who their auditing firm is.
I don't remember.
Any other questions for him? All right.
But I'm more optimistic now of the chlorines than I've had been in the past.
Good. 'Cause we
Don't
definitely-
get too hopeful.
No,
Yes.
I said optimistic.
I just see it as another chance for use, really, but, time to tell.
I don't know.
Let's see.
We hope.
Yeah.
We hope for a long time.
We'll be cautious optimists.
Any public comments on village business? Darlene, you got anything?
Mm-mm.
Schedule meetings, utility oversight subcommittee meeting. Our next one will be 6 p.m. October 12th. That works for everybody.
Yep.
The 6 o'clock?
6
Okay.
o'clock's good.
Yeah, you're past Elmira by then, right?
They should be playing high school baseball right now, but they're not, so
Yeah.
don't even get me started on that.
Yep,
6 o'clock.
6 o'clock on the 12th.
That's buying pizza, so.
Got no reason for closed session. So do I have a motion to adjourn?
I'll make a motion that we adjourn.
Mr. Packard,
A second.
second by trustee Churchill. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Thank you. Thanks for putting this together, Frank.
Thanks, Pat.
Thank you.